A question on bullying. We have seen bullying in schools. Even when we see it in movies, we see children being bullied in schools. And this behavior comes to office work environment also.
True.
The first question was on challenging bosses. But when it comes to bullies, it's most of them, yes, it might be superiors, but it can happen through our peers also. How do we deal with bullies at workplace?
Right. So when it comes to bullying, intervention is needed at both levels. That is at the organizational level and at the psychological level. At the organizational level, we need to spread more awareness on what is bullying, what deserves attention, and the specific guidelines that an employee can follow in escalating the situation.
Right.
So during my experience here, what I've noticed is many employees are struggling to understand, okay, should I escalate this, should I not? And they suffer in silence.
Okay.
So perhaps clear guidelines on where can they actually draw the line? What is the threshold? What is considered as general common office politics, and what is actually considered bullying? Clearly demarcating that during awareness programs and providing guidelines on the steps that they have to take. So this could be done when a new team member is inducted. That could be an opportunity to conduct such programs. And periodically sending mails or quizzes on what is bullying. Do you do this? Do you observe people around you doing this? So in a question format, triggering, eliciting that awareness in them can help.
Right.
At the psychological level, what can we do? This is this requires a deeper analysis. When somebody is bullying us, it is not the adult in us who is responding, but rather it is the child in us who is responding to the bully. Because like you rightly pointed out, we have all encountered bullying at college or school on some level, at least minor level. So what happens, that registers in our body and mind. We may not have processed it fully at that time. So now as an adult, when somebody is bullying us, the whole trauma comes back. So there are certain triggers that we might have not even been aware of, and we respond to it. So in such cases, we have to be our own caretaker now. We have to be our own parent because we're not children anymore. So taking a minute to look at ourselves and say, I am so sorry that you're going through this.
Okay, self-talk.
Yeah, hugging yourself, holding yourself and saying, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I wish you hadn't, you didn't deserve to go through that, but it's okay. You are safe right now. There is no immediate threat or danger. No matter what the bully does, your life is not at stake.
Got it.
Your work is not at stake. You are going to survive this. It's okay. You're safe now. So that single word of self-kindness that we show will definitely calm down our nervous system. And when I talk about nervous system, I'm also remembering about feedback loops. See, when we are confronting a bully, our entire body goes into a state of fight, flight, or freeze.
Okay.
Sympathetic nervous system activation. So even without our awareness, our muscles are always tight, our forehead is always clenched, our jawline is clenched, and this tension actually is fed back to the brain, which believes that something's terribly wrong. So it increases the anxiety level even more. So in such cases, around people that you're uncomfortable, try to maintain an open posture like this, keeping your palms on your lap, outstretched, a very half smile, a very small smile. And maintaining serenity in your facial expression, bringing down your eyebrows, unclenching your face. So these minor changes in your body informs your brain that, hey, cool, nothing's so wrong, it's okay, it's fine. Right, so that will help. And assertiveness training. We are not used to saying no enough.
So true.
Right, so I've to many of my clients, I've suggested that please stand in front of the mirror and practice generic statements of saying no, right? So it doesn't have to be specific to that situation. How do you generally say no? For instance, looking at a bully in the eye, giving him a smile and saying, hey, I don't know how you meant that. Maybe it was your sense of humor, but I was really not comfortable with that, and I wish you wouldn't do it again. It kind of hurt me. So this is a very simple statement. It's easy for me to say it now, but people find it hard to say it at that point. So mental rehearsal, revisit past situations, look at yourself in the scene, see how your face is changing, listen to your own voice as you open your mouth and say no, as you stand up for yourself. The more you listen to yourself in your mental rehearsals, the more it registers in your brain, and you're able to respond better in upcoming situations, upcoming challenging situations. And the next point is picking your battles wisely. Sometimes we don't have to pounce at everything. That is physically and mentally exhausting. So we need to choose which situations truly deserve our attention. Perhaps this person is like that with everybody, and perhaps that is his general way of communicating. So what do we do with such a person? We maintain our distance from him, and we pick our battles wisely. Don't go into a fight for everything with that person. Then, taming our own inner bully. Very important point. I can't stress this enough. The bullying episode may happen once, but what does our mind do? It replays the same episode hundreds of times in our head, right? And what does that do to us? We start judging ourselves, saying, you were so weak, you were incompetent, you couldn't stand up for yourself, that's why you were targeted, all this negative self-talk. So imagine, we need to tame our own inner bully and say, hey, what are you doing to me? That happened long back and that episode is over. Why are you replaying it again and again? What use it is? So add a sense of humor there and ask yourself, is this episode needed right now, or is my mind, playing a mega serial in my head? So add a touch of humor and talk to your mind that is being your own bully sometimes. And remember that it is never ever your fault that you're being bullied. A victim of bullying is not necessarily weak or incompetent, or doesn't mean that he lacks social skills. Maybe you were just in this situation, maybe that's how the other person is. So never ever blame yourself for being bullied. You are doing the best you can. It says more about the other person than about you. And most importantly, and the final thing, is expanding our social support system. Not just at work. For many of us, work seems to be the place of friendships also, which is understandable. But we need to realize that there's a whole world outside of work. We need to make more friends, expand our social circles outside. And the more people that we meet, the more people that we introduce ourselves to, we realize that not everybody is like that. Right? We realize that there are a lot of people who value us, who give importance to us, who are kind to us. And that boosts our self-confidence. That makes us realize that, okay, this is just one person. One person in this company or in this team, that's all. There are so many other people in my life with whom my relationship is good. But for that, you need to take the step. You need to put yourself out there and interact more. So these are some psychological interventions and points to keep in mind when dealing with bullies.
Got it. Feedback loops is what you said, right? So handling feedback loops, then taming the inner bully. These are things I think I need to personally work on. So